Good star next to that one. An outstanding play by DJ LeMahieu.
Not in time, and Reyes has his 500th career stolen base. Luis Guillorme ties the game with a pinch hit home run. Oh, wow!
It's Labor Day, and like a good Labor Taurus is there.
Off third, Hayes has room. Hayes makes the catch. Yankees win. Oh, Yankees win. The New York Yankees have won the 1996 World Series.
And welcome back to the Battle in New York podcast. It has been a minute. I just want to lead off first and say, if you take a look right underneath me, you can see a familiar face back off the IL. Rich, welcome back, buddy. We miss you. You want to tell us what you were doing or just enjoying life on the IL?
Yeah, so full disclosure, I was kind of on the IL. I was in Costa Rica. As you can see, I've grown a full beard. I have this hat that says Costa Rica Pura Vida. Enjoying life, but it's good to be back with the squad. I've missed talking ball. I was at trivia early night, and someone says, when's the last time you've been to a baseball game? And I actually said I've only been to 7 this year. And then I realized what I said out loud, and it sounded psychotic. But it's been a while since I've seen some baseball.
Absolutely. Nothing sounds like a better IL stint than being in Costa Rica and having fun. But we're going to just jump right into it. We're going to do a recap episode of everything we missed next week. But right now, we're going to strictly talk Subway Series, and I'm going to kick it off first and just say congratulations to the Mets portion of our team here. It was a interesting series, to say the least. But, listen, at the end of the day, a win's a win, and we love the Mets half of our team here. And I'm going to just open it up. Who wants to talk? We want to talk happy, sad? What are we thinking?
I hate everything.
Me too.
But I'll let the happy people talk first.
Rich, you should do the honors since you haven't had a hot mic yet.
Yeah, I can be quick. So, full disclosure, game 1, I was traveling, and we touched down in Atlanta from Costa Rica, layover. The Atlanta airport, don't go there. It's fucking awful, just like the Braves. And, I'm following on my phone. I was in customs an hour and a half. I was following on my phone, and life was good. My phone died, went to grab some grub, plugged in my phone. It's 9-3. I'm like, oh, great. But I didn't realize that Judge was up with the bases loaded. And someone had messaged me and said, Judge grand slam, it's fate. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Judge hits the grand slam. I'm in the Atlanta airport trying to find my Lactaid pills because I am messed up. I'm like, what is going on? Plug in my iPad. I watch the rest of the game. Like, whew. And I know I texted you guys because it felt like an LOL Mets were going to lose. But the Mets found a way to figure out that game because, the power of Grimace. In game 2, just watching it, with the rain delay too, it's just like, at the end of the day, the vibes are with the Mets right now, and the vibes are not with the Yankees right now. A month ago, the vibes were all in the Bronx. Me and Caroline were like, what is life? We hate everything. You guys were on cloud 9. It's flipped. The reality is that's what a baseball season is. The Mets, if you did not know the Mets record and had to guess it, you would guess it was 50. You would guess it was the Yankees record based on the vibes. But we're 500, looking in the wild card. And, vibes are not good in the Bronx right now, especially after tonight. But at the end of the day, you guys got off to such a good start that you can afford to have times. But I have to say, there was something exhilarating about watching the Mets beat the Yankees in Atlanta. It was almost like I conquered the city and the Yankees in one night.
Rich, I you know what? No, like I said, I'm happy. That's electric. That's fantastic.
See, I don't like it when Rich is happy, so
I like Rich a lot. So I like when Rich is happy, almost as much as I like when Caroline's happy. But Matt, you and me are gonna bitch and moan about everything. I lied. I said I wasn't going to complain, but I'm gonna complain.
Good.
We'll kick it
Let
over.
loose.
We'll kick it over to Caroline to give her perspective, and then Matt, and then you and me can either. We'll chop it up.
So, a year ago, my feelings about this would be very clear cut because I was a single Mets fan who hated a lot of Yankee fans. But now, God has blessed me with a boyfriend who cheers for the Yankees. So this has been a very complicated 2 games that we went to both of them. After May, like even when we first started going to games and the season started, I looked at Joe. I was like, I can't do this for an entire season, and I knew that it wasn't going to be an entire season of really bad baseball. It's just kind of like how the fates had it that the Yankees kind of shit the bed the moment the Mets let Grimace into the building and ignited them. And that's unfortunate for our relationship sometimes to talk about. But I mean, it's nice to see the offense just like wake up. I think pitching really needs Alvarez. I am such an Alvarez stan. I'm really excited for him to be a Met for a really long time. I'm putting that out in the universe because just seeing him is a beautiful thing. Our pitching needs him. Our offense needs him. Everybody needs him. He thinks everyone's the best, and I think he's the best, just like his tattoo. No, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing, and I hope they can continue it. I told Joe there's a lot riding on the line for us. We're back at 500. We're in the wild card race. Every game counts because of the May they had. And, he likes to remind me that these games are important for you guys too, because, the Orioles are neck and neck with you. But I'm just a very happy camper, and I'm hoping that this is the real Mets and that the May Mets aren't the actual real Mets. So overall, happy person. Can't complain. Can't be too excited either as to respect my partner. And that's all I have to say.
Well, I'm just really glad that makes one of us that respects our sports feelings. Not that I always don't, but yeah, no, these games mattered to me. The Yankees were have been on an awful streak since we left, actually. And you're probably wondering, Joe, why aren't you wearing any Yankee stuff? And to be fair, nobody else. Matt, you wearing a Yankee hat?
This is a Yankee, yeah.
Okay. So only one of us is still repping proud and true. Yep. Okay. All right. Caroline too. But Rich and I, that's why we're on the left side. It is what it is. But Joe, why are you wearing a Devil's hat and a red sweatshirt? I'll tell you why. Because I've been in fucking hell. This has been awful. This has been terrible, awful. Since our last episode that we recorded, and I looked it up, the Yankees, and this was actually prior to, but the Yankees are not good. But I'll give Rich a lot of credit. He's right. We had a great start to the year, so we can afford to look like the 2023, 2022, second half, 2021. Take your pick of the most recent Yankee collapses. But I'm going to complain a little bit more later. But Matt, I haven't heard from you a lot tonight, so I'll let you go first, and then I'll give my stuff later.
Honestly, it's just straight up painful. So in regards to the Mets, I'm very curious. I just wanted to add to see. They have to go one of two. They have to literally either be really good or really bad. With the next month or so, because of the trade deadline, you don't want to feel like you made the wrong decision right after the deadline, no matter what that is. I just wanted to add that in, but the Yankees right now, oh my God, this is screaming 2022 second half Yankees to me right now, and it's scary because that was some of the most painful baseball I think I've ever watched in my whole life. Yeah, I just like almost where like you watch and your team's gonna lose. Like that's kind of how I feel right now. I'm like, oh well, something bad will happen. Like tonight, it was Vladdy's bloop double followed by Ben Rice letting the ball travel all the way to first base and then kicking off first base, which is not his fault 100%. He probably should have just picked it up and tagged the base, though. It was right there.
Right.
I didn't really agree with that, especially with Vladdy. It's not like he's going many places, not a speed demon on the bases. And, Rodon just was imploding, but there's a few glowing concerns for me. The first being our ace, Garrett Cole. He did come out and say that the velo was down because he didn't have his control, so he wanted to turn it down a little bit to get some control back. Garrett Cole is historically an upper 90s pitcher. You don't turn it down to 91 and have everything be okay.
Right.
Like I was saying, I've told Rich this, and I was talking about it with you, Joey, before we started recording. This screams Kyle Bradish to me. Kyle Bradish, was trying to avoid Tommy John, rehabbed, came back. He pitched for a couple of weeks, and they shut him down, and he had Tommy John surgery. And it screams a very similar situation to me. The Yankees were very optimistic with Cole, but it's been not great since he came back. And, yes, he did have a short rehab. Velo's velo, that doesn't really lie. Even when Rodon has struggled, he's healthy because he's throwing 97. Cole throwing 91 is very concerning to me. And then also going to Carlos Rodon, the only good thing that's come out of Carlos Rodon struggling is Rich's money league team playing bad. He tells me about it. He's like, "Oh, I'm in a money league and I have Rodon and he's playing terrible." And I think that's hilarious. Don't play in money leagues, Rich. I don't. But anyway,
That's weak, Matt.
I don't play in money leagues. I won't play in money leagues for various reasons, but Rodon is reminding me a lot of Patrick Corbin. Patrick Corbin was a great pitcher for the Diamondbacks. Signed a long-term contract with the Nationals, and he's healthy all the time. Like, I think Rodon probably will be. And he just makes so much money that they just strut him out there to get shelled every fifth day. And that seems like what is going to happen with Carlos Rodon because he's a very untradeable contract. You can't get rid of him. And you're just going to hope for the best that his stuff comes back. But let's be fair, it doesn't look good. And there's just certain holes that this team really needs to fix. The offense, I honestly think the offense can turn it around. The bullpen's just gassed, in my opinion. But I was talking about it with Rich. And the Yankees, they have, yes, they've revamped the offense, but they never seem to do it right. Like, they always do it in ways of banking on guys to come back. If so-and-so is going to play better this year, and like my example, I think I said to you, Rich, was, Rizzo, you expected to play better after last year. DJ, you expected to play better after last year. And I'm sorry, Joey, I know you love him, but by God, he is terrible. Trent Grisham, he's played well as of recently. He hit a home run tonight. So that was a decent bounce back candidate. But you can't rely on all these bounce back guys because if you hit on 2 of 5 of the bounce back guys, that's a great line in a single game. It's not a great line when you're talking about the whole lineup, though. That's not a lot of production. So that's kind of been my issue with the Yankees. I mean, it's a lot of issues, but that's a brief breakdown.
Okay, so I had the pleasure, pain, privilege, I really don't know how to put it, of being at both Subway Series games. And for those of you that don't know, since Caroline and I have started going to games together, we have been very fortunate to see our teams play each other, not just in baseball, in football and hockey as well. Does anybody want to guess what Caroline's record at these games are? I'll tell you the number of games. As of right now, it's been, I believe, 6 or 7. But does anybody want to guess what her record is? what
I'm
her
gonna say
team's record is.
I'm going to say 7-0 or 6.
At Mets games?
It's been so Yankees, Mets. We've done Yankees, Mets, Giants, Jets, Rangers, Devils, and it
Undefeated.
sums out for about 6 or 7 games. We'll call it 7 just to give us a whole number.
Undefeated.
Yep. And it has not been fun games for me. Not one. No, sir. They've been some of the worst games I've ever been to. I'm very fortunate to have a kind partner because if she was half of me, we wouldn't be doing this show right now. So I was walking into Citi Field this week with that in the back of my head. I was kind of hoping for a little reverse the curse, and we almost skunked the Mets in the first game. And then the rain delay happened in the second game, and I was really hoping for, truthfully, I was hoping for them to just call the game because the vibes were ugly. But they didn't. And yeah, no, I have not enjoyed the last 2 in-person games I've been to. Concerned about Garrett Cole for sure. I know he's coming back. I know we rushed him back, Matt. I know you said it reminds you of Kyle Bradish, and I told you pre-show. I agree, but I'm also getting a little 2023 Carlos Rodon where they kind of rushed him back just to get him out there. And if we get a 60% Garrett Cole, I mean, listen, that's a 60% Garrett Cole is still a lot better than most of the pitchers in baseball. But if he's throwing low 90s, it's not going to be pretty. But
you can't
no,
be a fastball dominant pitcher with 91.
you can't. You can be a fastball dominant pitcher in high school with 91, but not in Major League Baseball. But no, again, the Mets looked good. The Grimace meme has been, I'm going to talk about it on the next episode a lot more. I've had a field day with Grimace memes, and I'll give you a sneak preview. It's been a lot of fun watching this Mets team. I said it last episode, on paper, when you look at this Mets team, there's no reason why they shouldn't be hitting better. And I kind of spoke that into existence because they started hitting better right after a giant purple, what is he? Monster? Turd?
I
I
don't even
think
know.
so, but even more importantly, they started
Hamburger
hitting,
mascot?
yes, but they started hitting better when their main catcher came back and when their
That is a
DH
big
got,
thing.
got to have an opportunity to help other hitters and have become a team. I feel like that's very important too, and I feel like you become more confident when you have someone like Francisco Alvarez back in the lineup, and I think that's getting overshadowed by memes and goofballness. So I just want to shout out my boy again.
The Mets have historically played really well when Francisco Alvarez is on the team, and I don't think it's a coincidence.
Absolutely.
I think that he is one of those guys that is a spark plug not only by his play but by his personality as well. And it's one thing to be a spark plug when you're injured, and trying to be there for the boys, but it's different, right? When you can't play and you can't participate, you can try your best, but it is disheartening. So for him to come back, it is huge. And Vientos, we made fun of him, not like made fun of. I shouldn't say we made fun of him, but we basically wrote him off. Proved to be very, very good. He's a great bat. He hasn't been awful defensively, which I think is a big plus because that was like the concern, I feel like, for Mets fans. But I mean, the Mets are gonna. It's like a mojo thing, right? Like, yeah, we can call it memes and everything, but there's always something that teams have to say that's what. Oh yeah, look, this is our thing. I mean, do you guys remember when the Royals? Sorry, Mets fans. The Royals were doing really, really well. They had Billy Butler's barbecue sauce or something, or I think they also had a prey mantis. Just little stupid stuff. I mean, they should be selling Grimace shakes at Citi Field.
They can't
No,
legally, though. McDonald's owns the rights to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I think that the Yankees should have the Hamburglar throw out a first
I think the
pitch.
Yankees should try to grow beards.
I think the Yankees should get Ronald McDonald if we're going to keep playing like clowns.
Or, I mean,
But-
at that point, get rid of Carlos Rodon then, because he's a clown.
I think you're just saying that because money's on the line.
Dude, he's so bad. I'm sorry. It's
Well,
just so tough to watch him. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Like I don't hate the guy. I don't. I know you love him, Joey. I know.
I don't
I
hate
love
the guy.
everybody.
I hate the guy.
I don't hate the guy. He's just not a good pitcher.
I'm gonna reference a few past things from a couple of podcasts. And Rich, I'll give you credit where credit's due. As of right now, you were saying that he was getting lucky, and you were right. It looks like the first few starts of the season were lucky starts for Rodon. You were just looking at the Savant page, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, but also with a grain of salt, he's not going to be as bad as he's been his last 3 starts. It's not possible. He's obviously going through a rough patch, and I feel for the guy. He cares. I respect that.
Literally crying on the bench. I feel like you hate seeing stuff like that.
Yeah, Edwin
These guys
Diaz
are
did the same
people.
shit. I feel for those guys. I'm not going to be like Jonathan Papelbon and be an asshole about it. I feel for those guys. I feel for those guys when they care about it. Yeah, I mean, we agree on that, Matt.
And there were just 2 other things in my head, and they're much related. I also believe last episode, and someone can look, that's not us right now because we're recording. But I was standing on the table screaming last episode with Austin that Francisco Alvarez is a critical piece to this Mets team. And I mean, he has been. It's pitching, it's hitting. He had not a big home run. I mean, the Mets blew out the Yankees last night, but he hit he hit a big home run early in the game off heel. I mean, and JD Martinez has been another integral part of this Mets team. I will forever hate JD Martinez, Red Sox, the Dodger that made Judge get hurt, and I've gone neutral on the Mets. So now he is a New York Metropolitan, and that is the meanest thing I will say about him right now. But last thing is Mark Vientos, again, great. We all knew the bat was there. Can we agree on that?
I think it was like 50-50, and we needed consistency.
Right. And the fielding has, a ball popped out of his glove yesterday. Listen, that's fine when you're up 6 on the June 2024 Yankees, but that can't happen down the line. And Brett Beatty, who has looked great in AAA, this guy's just a AAA legend. Some guys are quadruple A ball players, and it's looking like that.
I think John Mancone made a really great point about Brett Beatty on Twitter today. I think that New York is not the right place for Brett Beatty. I think that he would do really well in a smaller market, less pressure, and he could just play ball. I think pressure is what gets him, because right now he's in Syracuse, New York, and he knows that he's not getting called up while one of his really good friends is smashing the ball and winning ball games. So I totally agree with that. That wasn't my conclusion. It was John's on Twitter. Shout out, John. But I think that is a very valid point.
Watch. I mean, Brett Beatty, first off, I have to give the kid credit. He's so happy for Vientos, and that takes so much grit and to be such a good teammate to be succeeding at a lower level like that and seeing your friend who wasn't given the chance killing it and being so happy for him and just keep doing your job. But I agree. It's almost like a Zach Wilson for the Jets, but like he needed a change of scenery. I mean, obviously Brett Beatty is more successful than Zach Wilson, but like some people just need a change of scenery. It is what it is.
I cannot believe you just brought up Zach Wilson on this podcast.
Look, I'm a loyal Jets fan, man.
Oh,
Denver Broncos quarterback Zach Wilson.
My backup,
he's
but
the third. No, he's the third string.
All right. For as much as I would sit here and love to talk football, maybe we can do that in the offseason. That would be kind of fun. So love it or hate it, pretty straightforward. Pick a topic you love, pick a topic you hate. We're going to keep it just within the Subway series, and we'll do a longer episode next week. So, Rich, we missed you. What was your love it and hate it from this series besides conquering Atlanta and the Yankees in a single night?
Yeah, so my love it is the baby Mets. Francisco Alvarez, Mark Vientos, and Brett Beatty, just killing it in AAA. They're all doing their job. My hate it is kind of unique. My hate it is something Yankees and something Mets. My hate it is Yankee fans that say that the Mets won the World Series this series. And in retrospect, my hate it is also the Mets fans that will be at a Mets Pirates game on a Wednesday, and they start the Yankees suck chant. I just think it's petty from both sides. The best image was seeing Grimace standing on that table chugging a beer when Yankees and Mets fans both had their cameras on him. Because at the end of the day, the Yankees and Mets are a friendly rival. Let's be real. Mets fans hate Braves and Phillies fans. Yankees fans hate the Red Sox and everyone else in that division. But when we play each other, it is rights for the cities. It does mean something. But I hate that petty crap between Yankees and Mets fans. At the end of the day, have fun with the rivalry. It's not make or break. It's not the Atlanta Braves. It's not the Boston Red Sox. Have some fun with it. If you're one of those fans that starts the Yankees suck chant at Citi Field, you're a bozo. That's all I have to say.
Rich, you have always been a class act, and I'm not surprised that was your hate it. All right, let's kick it over to we'll keep the same lineup. We'll kick it over to Kara, then Matt, then me.
My love it. I don't know, just baseball right now. You guys got to say you loved baseball in May. I'll say I love baseball in June. My hate it is there's 4 games every year that Joe and I cannot be on the same side because it leads to awkward conversations like me being undefeated. So that's my love it and hate it.
Very silly. It's like a backhanded, like, oh, I hate being right all the time. Like,
I'm going to be very honest with you. Joe is the only one who brings up the record, so it was my chance to bring up the record.
all right. I respect that. So, my love it. I mean, you know what? I'm going to stick with my love it being baseball because I do love the sport, and I love the ups and downs of it, even though it is really painful. I love that it provokes conversation, about different things involved in the sport, and I love that it's so unpredictable. I mean, looking at the records of all the teams, there's truly, truly chaos in baseball right now in a good way, and I think that so my love it is baseball. I really wanted to focus on my hate it, and it's Jonathan Papelbon. I really can't stand this guy. I hated him as a player, but like he just comes at people on Twitter and he thinks it's funny. Like, I'm sorry, he is making fun of guys who are struggling. Like, and I'm a softie, right? Like, I like to make like I hate seeing people upset. And the Yankees have been obviously upset, and he's like rooting for Stanton to stay injured. He's happy that Rodon's crying on the bench. I mean, like, what a scumbag of a human. He is the epitome of what you don't want your kids to be like. It's insane to me. He's somebody that I've refused to comment on posts of his because a lot of it is him seeking validation of his fame by other people replying to his dumbass posts. So I refuse to even associate my account with most things that he says. It's frustrating. I've said it. I've said it once, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. He is a has-been that is looking to stay relevant, and he's now trying to latch on to Jared Carrabis and his NESN broadcast, but he is such a has-been.
While we're talking, yeah, he went from two-time World Series champion, one time. He went from World Series champion to Twitter troll. Like, what an absolute clown! I can't with that dork. And yeah, you want root for injuries?
I
You
don't
want root
like
for this?
I don't even like to give him like the time of day, because he is like, this is what he thrives off of, right? Is like little crap like this, and it's like so petty. Like, you have two little kids. Like, you should be setting yourself as a better role model as a person. And instead, he's online telling people basically like it's not okay to show emotion, or not even to show emotion. Like, he's okay with emotion, but he's like, haha, look at that sucker. He's upset. Like, this is hilarious, guys. Like, oh, good. So the two things you're known for are being or three things. I'll say three things. You're known for being a Twitter troll, for dancing on the mound in your underwear, and choking out one of the best hitters in baseball.
Well, you forgot the fourth thing, which is being a douche. But
No, fifth. He was a loser for the
That's
Phillies.
total.
Sorry,
He's a loser Philly. I saw him trip on the mound and blow a save against the Mets. Keep it in here.
that's the only acceptable Phillies L I'll take to the Mets. All right, moving forward. My love it is. I'm gonna be bold. My love it is I am happy that the Mets are doing better. I'm happy for our podcast hosts. I'm happy for our Mets friends. I'm not happy for us because that came out of our ass and out of our expense. But you know what? We got two really cool co-hosts here. We got some cool Mets fans out there, and you know what? Good for them, man. That's cool. My hate it is the vibes around our beloved New York Yankees. It's just backbreakingly depressing. And I didn't watch the game tonight. I was on the phone with my best friend from high school a couple days ago, and he asked me, he said, on average, out of 162 games, how many do you say you sit down and watch? So I thought it out, and I average around 145 in the regular season. You know, West Coast trips that I can't stay up for, and every once in a while things happen I can't watch. But yeah, I just decided not to watch the game today. And I was telling Matt before, I got a notification, and after the Springer home run, I was like, I'm not bothering. But yeah, vibes are lame, and I hate it. Hopefully we turn it around. Law of averages says we should. So let's hope the rest of the season can't be this lame.
I think when the vibes are that lame, that's what makes it infinitely harder, because it looks like they're laying down and dying, and you gotta crawl out of the hole for that to turn around. So hopefully it happens soon.
You know what? You're right. We should take the positive. The Yankees got 2 hits tonight.
Who provided the hits?
Trent Grisham
hit a home run, and Volpe had a single.
That's because Trent Grisham should be playing for Alex Verdugo. No offense. But wait, can I have a bonus, love it?
Rich, you're back. You can have whatever you want.
Look, I just have to say, Aaron Judge is the fucking man. He is so good. And he's just carrying one of my fantasy teams. And when the Yankees are terrible, he's still good. And he carries himself like a class act. And there's just no other way to put it. I'm a big Judgy guy. I had to say that because when things are bad, there's one guy in the Yankees locker room and there's one guy in the Mets locker room who know how to handle the New York media perfectly. It's Aaron Judge and Pete Alonso. They know how to talk to New York media, and that's a skill set, and it takes time and effort. So just shout out to Judgy. He's the man.
You know what? I'm going to take a bonus just because you were very nice to shout out Judge. I'm going to give my condolences about Pete Alonso. I feel very bad that he is having the year he's having. And if you know me, you know that's a lot coming from me. But I just think he's struggling right now. I feel sorry. Pete, we know you listen.
Home run derby's coming, so he'll be okay.
He'll get his World Series.
I
said the magic words.
You're only apologizing because you jinxed him first episode.
Well, Rich was
MVP.
classy enough to shout out Judge. So I'm going to return the favor and say I hope Pete Alonso turns it around. For his sake, that fucking clown should have took the money. But here we are. Not as eloquent and classy as Rich, but we got it done. All right. That brings us to right about when Rich has to get off. So that's going to wrap it up for us today on Battle in New York. We will be back early next week to discuss the recap of everything that we missed and what's moving forward. And then everybody enjoy the 4th of July. But again, we'll talk about that later. So for Battle in New York, Joey, Matt, Rich, Caroline, we'll see you guys next week.